Part 13. Kumogakure forced me, and the Third Hokage persuaded me to die. Author, Uchiha Hokage. Chapter 125. Kumogakure Village, inside the Mizukage building. The Snow Clan has completely disappeared from Kumogakure. At most, some of them may have fled to other parts of the water country. Only two brothers, Goiden Manyu and Goiden Shuiyu, are left in the Goiden clan. Among the 7 ninja swordsmen, there is only one wielder of the twin swords, the squid, Kito Manjutsu, who is still in Kumogakure. Hyuga Nariku counted them one by one, and even wanted to laugh in his heart. Kumogakure village has almost been completely hollowed out. The 4th generation Mizukage Kumogakure nodded gloomily. The only ethnic group in Kumogakure village that can still maintain its strength is the Kagaya clan is left with the corpse vein. Although he was previously controlled by illusions, he has always been aware of what is happening in the outside world. The 7 ninja swordsmen were directly kicked to death by Mat Dai in the 3rd battle. 4. The remaining 3. Lokwatjuzo, the wielder of the beheaded sword, defected. Black Horega, the wielder of the thunder sword and tooth, defected. Tsukuyomi Fuguo Ni, the wielder of the great sword shark muscle, was killed by that guy not long ago. The mysterious man and Kisame Kisaki join forces to kill. Not only that, Wula village's finances have also been squandered by the masked man. Goju Yagura said helplessly. He didn't shy away from Hinata Nariku when he said this. After seeing the other party's strength before, he knew very well. Whether to destroy Kumogakure village only depends on whether the other party wants it or not. Moreover, even if he doesn't want to do these things said, the other party can also guess it. The shadow of a village has been controlled by illusion for many years. You can know what the consequences will be if you think about it. After a long time, they will definitely be tortured and no one will have any pants left. The 4th generation master, Elder Yuanchi is here. Kumogakure Umbu came to report. Well, go ask Elder Master Yuan to come in. Zhiju Yagura said with an unattractive expression. It seems that your prestige is almost completely gone. Hinata Nariku said with great interest. Yondame-sama and Mizukage-sama, these two titles have different meanings. The latter means far more respect than the former. Calling Mizukage-sama means acknowledging that you are the shadow of the village and the highest authority in the village. And calling Yondame-sama means simply acknowledging that you were once a qualified kage. Although you still occupy the position of Mizukage, you are no longer qualified in our minds. At the beginning, the chiefs of Konoha's clans had no respect for the monkeys. Hiruzen's title has also changed in the past. From Hokage-sama to Sandame-sama to Sandame or 3rd generation. The attitude has gradually changed. There's nothing we can do about it. Goto Kibana Yagura sighed helplessly. He, the Mizukage, has been controlled by others. Even the Umbu who directly belong to the Mizukage cannot respect him as before. It is different from the treatment in the original work. Kumogakure did not hide Yagura's secrets. It was something that was secretly controlled by someone. Instead, the news was allowed to spread in the village. The reason is also very simple, all the more than 2,000 ninjas in Konoha's expedition knew about it. This was hidden. Konoha ninjas went back after that, it won't be long before the entire ninja world will know. It is meaningless for Kumogakure village to block the news at this time. Soon. Genji and Terumi Mei walked in. Is this the 5th Hokage? Master Yuan was not surprised to see Hinata Nariku here. Hyuga Nariku looked at the old man in front of him curiously. His hair had fallen out, and all his teeth were gone. His face was full of wrinkles. Even his eyes were slightly squinted. Without looking carefully, you are not sure whether the other party has opened his eyes. This year is the 52nd year of the Konoha calendar. The Genji is an old man who is close to 80 years old. At this age, he is almost the same as the Akatsuki organization. It is really true, right? A contemporary of the first Kage. The dead Sarutobi Hiruzen is only 61 years old this year. The third generation Tsuchikage of Iwagakure, 2 days scale Onaki, is not yet 70 years old this year. And the Genshi is close to 80 years old. Elder Yuanchi, I have admired you for a long time. Hyaga Nariko nodded slightly. In the current ninja world, this old man can be called a living fossil-level existence. I don't dare, the old man is just a dying man with half of his body buried in the ground. Genshi looked at Hinatan Nariko with slightly narrowed eyes, full of emotion. After seeing Hinatan Nariko with his own eyes, he became even more emotional. Senju Hashirama back then was not so young when he was calming down the troubled times. But in front of him the fifth Hokage is obviously less than 20 years old. And this already has a power comparable to that of the first Hokage Senju Hashirama. However, in the ninja world, there is currently no one who can compete with Senju Hashirama Uchiha Madara. Genshi did not think that the mysterious man wearing the mask was Uchiha Madara. The reason was the same as the first and second generation Hokage's thoughts. How could Uchiha Madara be killed so easily? See you in Goda Kibana Yagura. I was a little surprised by Yuanchi's attitude. In Kirigakure village, Yuanchi can be said to be a highly respected person, second only to Mizukage. Even now, the news that he was controlled by illusion has spread. In the village, Yuanchi's prestige it should have been above him, the water shadow. Unexpectedly, the master of the element lowered his posture so low in front of Hyaga Nariku. Master Mizukage need not be surprised. Even if Yagura didn't speak, Genshi understood what the other person was thinking. I have seen the power of Konoha's first Hokage, and I know that it is something we cannot fight against. Yet. Yakura nodded slowly. Master Yuen, as an old man who has lived for so long, knows better than him, the Mizukage, what attitude to use when facing someone. Thinking of this, Yagura couldn't help but breathe a sigh of relief. After his death, the village should at least not be reduced to destruction. It happened that Master Yuen was also there, so I told him directly. Yakuragaji said without any regret on her face. We need to confirm the candidate for the fifth Mizukage as soon as possible. Master. Yuen's brows jumped, a little surprised. What does Mizukage-sama mean? Even though the prestige of Goju Yagura, the Mizukage, has plummeted, at least his strength is still there. He is a shadow-level strength, and he is still a three-tailed Jinchuriki. Even a perfect Jinchuriki. In the current Kirigakure village, Yagura is such it is the most suitable choice for someone with enough strength to continue to serve as Mizukage. I can't live much longer. After being controlled by illusions for several years, my spirit body has suffered the trauma of my eyes. Yagura shook his head and said. He already knew this. If he was sorry, it was just a pity that he couldn't catch the masked man who controlled him to torment Kirigakure. This. Master Yuen couldn't help but frown. He originally chose Mei Terumi to succeed the fifth Hokage. However, the current Terumi Mei is still far behind in strength compared to Yagura. At this time, Hinatan Nariku suddenly interjected. Sanwei Isofu, I will take him away later. What? Genshi and Terumi Mei couldn't help but exclaimed in shock. After losing Yagura, the Mizukage, and then losing the Three Tails, the strength of their Kirigakure village will immediately decline seriously. Gaji Yagura didn't say anything about this. Hyaga Nariku has mentioned it to him before. He may want to resist, but there is no room for resistance. I want to take away the Three Tails. Hyaga Nariku repeated. I've finished, do you have any comments? Kumogakure forced me, and the third Hokage persuaded me to die. Author, Uchiha Hokage. Chapter 126. After seeing the corpses sealed away. What Hinatan Nariku has to do is to use the power of the Shinigami to divide the tailed beast and use it for his own use. As the weakest among the tailed beasts, The three-tailed one is the best choice to try. The decision to distribute tailed beasts was made by the first Hokage. Master Yuan was silent for a long time and said this. He had no choice but to refuse firmly. In other words, it was good that the other party was talking to them now instead of taking action directly. This decision is wrong. Hyuga Nariku said without any hesitation. Even if the first and second generation Hokage were here, he would say this. Even the second generation Hokage might even agree with him. Distribute the tailed beasts to the major ninja villages to achieve strength balance. This is completely the wrong decision. This. Not only Yuanji, but also Goju Yagura was froze by these words. The first generation Kage who directly denies his own village. Hinatan Nariku, the fifth Hokage, really dares to say that. Distributing tailed beasts did not bring peace to the shinobi world, it was proven. Hyuga Nariku said without any fluctuation in his tone. Every village does not use tailed beasts as a deterrent weapon. Instead, he sealed the tailed beast into the Jinchuriki's body, hoping to use the Jinchuriki to unleash the power of the tailed beast. Master Yuan held it in for a long time before he managed to say. We bought the three tails from the first Hokage with money. Ha! Hinatan Nariku chuckled lightly. Are tailed beasts something that can be measured in money? Just treat that money as rent. Sanwei, even if we in Konoha rent it to you for decades. Let's not ask whether the rent you paid was enough. Anyway, now, Sanwei, we're going to take it back. If the second Hokage hadn't stopped him at that time, the first Hokage would have even given away the tailed beast for free. It has to be said that the reincarnation of Azura Chakra is too naive. Even if it is just an ordinary tailed beast, such as a Shikaku, it also requires at least a Kage-level strength to suppress it. And the strongest Kyuubi. In a head-to-head confrontation, the weaker Kage is no match at all. Those who can easily subdue the Kage require the first generation would release an Uchiha's Sharingan. The Aiz and the Uzumaki clan's King Kong blockade have such power. If not, the breaking of the Nine-Tails seal will be a disaster. The first Hokage is not unclear about the power of tailed beasts. However, he hopes that all major ninja villages will master the tailed beasts. The power of each other can restrain each other and achieve peace. However, the result. In the short period of less than 40 years after the death of Senju Hashirama, 3 ninja wars occurred. In the final analysis, the peace in the first generation period was achieved through the intimidation of the first Hokage alone. The 3 tails are still in Mizukage-sama's body now, so it is not convenient to hand them over. Genshi said helplessly. By saying this, he already agreed to hand over the 3-tailed beast. Back then, he spent money to buy the tailed beast from the first Hokage of Konoha. It was indeed there several ninja villages who took advantage of it. Now, Konoha's 5th Hokage didn't take action directly, but spoke to them in a nice voice. This already gave them a lot of face. There's no need to rush this, I'll stay in Kirigakure for a while. Hyuga Nariku said. Why do you want to stay in Kirigakure? Master Gen couldn't help but frown. He can confirm it now. Although Hyuga Nariku is not as domineering as Uchiha Madara, he is not at all like Senju Hashirama. He just wants Hinatan Nariku to leave as soon as possible, otherwise, Kirigakure village might not be known to whom it belongs. Don't get me wrong, I have no idea about Kirigakure village. I'm just curious about some of Kirigakure's blood succession limits and secret techniques, and want to study them. Instead of guarding against me, what you should do is to check and see who are actually controlled by that masked man. Hyuga Nariku said with a sarcastic smile. Kirigakure has been infiltrated since Uchiha Madara was still alive. The No-Hararin incident was planned by Uchiha Madara using the people he controlled in Kirigakure. And after Uchiha Madara's death, Uchiha Obito did even more exaggeratedly. The water shadow was controlled. You can imagine what Kirigakure's situation will be now. He has no interest in taking over this Kumogakure that has been penetrated into a hornet's nest. Hidden. Genshi and Goju Yagura looked at each other, and both sighed helplessly. Especially Yagura. Before, he also saw the scene in the consciousness space where the mysterious man instigated rebellion against Inagaki Kisame. Inagaki Kisame can also instigate rebellion. Now in Kumogakure village, they are either directly controlled by various means, or they are instigated and bribed. Kumogakure village is probably riddled with infiltrations. They may still be able to investigate through illusion control. But directly being to instigate rebellion and bribe them, they can only identify them bit by bit and spend a long time to confirm their trust level. Well, Goju Yagura sighed. At this moment, he suddenly felt a little lucky. Fortunately, he was going to die, otherwise, he would have been responsible for taking over this mess. I propose that you, Terumi Mei, be the fifth Mizukage. Goju Yagura said seriously. Master Yuen also nodded. After saying that, the two of them subconsciously turned their attention to Hinata Nariku. It's up to you to decide what I do. Hyaga Nariku said inexplicably. Both Yuanchi and Goju Yagura felt a little embarrassed and quickly looked away. They just subconsciously wanted to see if Hyaga Nariku objected. It was obvious that the other party was not their Kumogakure person. However, they thought after thinking about it, Master Yuen also understood his subconscious actions. Hyaga Nariku is only less than 20 years old this year. You can imagine how long he can live. If Kumogakure village wants to exist, Mizukage must have a good relationship with the other party. Even, get the other party's approval. Terumi Mei is indeed the best candidate at the moment. Genshi nodded slowly and said. This is true both in terms of popularity and strength. Other people, Mamakai Zabuza, cannot compare in strength. Watermelon Mountain Puffer Demon, was killed not long ago. Inkasaki Kisame, follow the person who controlled Yagura ran away. Ghost Lantern is full moon, his health is not good, and he may die anytime. Terumi Mei was completely confused. She did have the idea of overthrowing the fourth generation and becoming the Mizukage herself. Genshi has always expressed support for this. However, she never expected that it would be so fast. The method is still the same. After the fourth generation Mizukage was released from control, she was directly elected as the Mizukage. However, my current strength is not quite enough. Terumi Mei said with some distress. She just turned 18 this year. I feel a little guilty to be the Mizukage now. And now Kumogakure, this mess, is going to fall on her. Just thinking about it, Terumi Mei felt that the future was gloomy. I'll get old before I do this. Terumi Mei said with a grimace. Hinata Nariku nodded slightly and inaudibly. That's quite right. The thought of Kumogakure in this situation makes people vomit blood. There are not many blood-stained ninja clan left. The 7 people were killed by the ninja sword and fled to death. Why do they have a bunch of spies? Who can bear this? You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Kumogakure forced me, and the Third Hokage persuaded me to die. Author, Uchiha Hokage. Chapter 127. Edge of Kumogakure Village. Why do I have to teach you the limits of my blood inheritance? Terumi Mei couldn't help but complained. Because you are defeated. Hyaga Nariku said matter-of-factly. If you want, you can add this to the peace negotiation agreement. Of course, we won't pay anything extra for this. Terumi Mei was speechless for a while. However, there was nothing to say. Even though Kumogakure was controlled by that mysterious man to start a war with Konoha. However, a defeat is a defeat. Moreover, seeing Hyaga Nariku's exaggerated would escape after that, she didn't think Kumogakure had any room for resistance. Sighing slightly in her heart, Mei Terumi explained. My melting release is a fusion of the two chakra attributes of water and earth. Although it is the blood inheritance limit of chakra attribute fusion, it is not something that can be learned easily. Hyuga Naruko nodded slightly and said. I have my own way of learning, you just need to use the corresponding ninjutsu. Terumi Mei couldn't help pouting. How confident he is. After a while, he realized that he couldn't learn it, and he was embarrassed. I hope he doesn't feel embarrassed. He secretly cursed in his heart, and Terumi Mei formed a seal in his hand and said. Melting escape, the art of melting monsters. A stream of acid liquid with a trace of mist erupted from his mouth and fell to the ground. The rocks on the ground made a sizzling sound and were easily corroded. Hinata Naruko used wood release to create a branch and lightly touched it. He touched the acid. The acid seemed extremely viscous and was slowly corroding the wooden branches. They are both water and earth attributes, but their properties are completely different. Hyuga Naruko sighed. Wooden release is basically based on water and earth attributes. The function of yang release chakra is more to give life to wooden release. With the addition of yang release, wooden release, which was originally lifeless, became able to growth. However, it is also a fusion of water and earth attributes, but the properties shown by melt release are sticky and acidic. Hinata Naruko thought about it and probably had an idea. Wood release is mainly based on earth attributes, supplemented by water attributes. And melt escape has more water attributes. Is this Mudun? Terumi Mei looked at the branch that suddenly appeared in Hinata Naruko's hand with some curiosity. The wood escape she had seen Hinata Naruko perform on the battlefield before were all large-scale ninjutsu that required sealing. But this small branch was just created. Hyuga Naruko doesn't even need a seal. And it's just such a small branch. It's stronger than a rock. In the face of the dissolving acid, the rock can only be easily corroded. And this small branch is corroded, the speed is much slower. Since you have learned wood release, you should know how difficult it is to learn a kind of blood succession boundary the day after tomorrow, right? Terumi Mei couldn't help but say. In her opinion, Hinata Naruko must have spent a long time, maybe even several years, to master the wood release of the first Hokage. She was born with the two blood successor limits of melting release, boiling release. It also took a lot of time to develop the two blood inheritance limits to the point where they can be used for ninjutsu. Moreover, you have already mastered wood done, so there is no need to learn melting done and boiling done, right? Terumi Mei said with some confusion. Although she didn't want to admit it, Terumi Mei also believed that wood release should be the ceiling in the blood succession realm. Especially, Hyuga Naruko can already perform the terrifying Senjudaibutsu ninjutsu. Under such a premise, is there any point in learning melting escape and boiling escape? To learn new things is the meaning in itself. The process of mastering new ninjutsu is interesting in itself. Moreover, Hinata Naruko paused for a moment, and then said. Is it difficult to learn the limits of blood inheritance? As he said that, the light blue Tensagen chakra suddenly appeared on the 5 fingers of Hinata Naruko's right hand, and he moved towards Terumi Mei from a distance. What? Terumi Mei was so shocked that she took a few steps back. At that moment, her chakra seemed to have been drawn out. Sure enough, the different ratios of chakra will affect the properties of the blood succession limit. Hyuga Naruko analyzed the nature of the melting release chakra that he had just absorbed, and nodded. The analysis of the melting release once again verified this point of view. The best example is the blood inheritance limit of the fusion of fire and earth attributes. Kumogakure Iwagakure's earth terrace, her molten release has rubber-like properties, is very elastic, and has high defense. Iwagakure's Kuratsuka, her molten release exhibits cement-like properties, and its function is to imprison the opponent. Iwagakure's explosive release Ninja Hunter, his explosive escape is also a fusion of fire and earth attributes, but the nature shown is explosive. Different ratios of chakra will form blood inheritance limits of different natures. Even if you absorb chakra, it doesn't mean you can display the corresponding blood inheritance limit. Terumi Mei was stunned for a while before saying, "In the ninja world, there is a kind of blood successor limit called Mei escape, which is used to absorb chakra. At least, Terumi Mei has not heard of any Mei escape blood successor ninja that learns by absorbing chakra. What is the blood inheritance limit?" Hyuga Nariku ignored it and formed a seal and said, "Melting escape, the art of melting monsters." In an instant, a large area of viscous acid spit out. All the grass and rocks on the ground were corroded. How can it be? Terumi Mei felt doubtful about life. This is really melting release. How could it be possible to master it like this? How could it be possible to master melting release so quickly? Even though she has the inheritance of melting release, it took her a while. He just mastered the melting ninjutsu. The effect is average. Hyuga Nariku shook his head and commented with some disappointment. This corrosion speed is unsatisfactory. Next, boil escape. In his impression, boiling's corrosion rate on Susanoo was even faster than that of melting. Moreover, escape has other uses as well. The five-tailed Jinhyurikihan of Iwagakure village has mastered a unique strange power technique with the help of boiling release. Terumi Mei was choked up and speechless by Hinata Nariku's comments. "I'm really sorry for the mediocre effect. It's obviously something you want to learn, but after you learn it, you feel that it's not good enough. What kind of person is this? Boiling escape and melting escape are not the same level of difficulty at all. This cannot be learned easily." Terumi Mei forced herself to calm down and said, "Boiling escape is the fusion of water and fire attributes, and the degree of conflict is much greater than that of water and earth attributes." Hyuga Nariku nodded slowly. This was within his expectation. The two chakra attributes of water and earth are relatively mild. Fire and thunder are more violent and difficult to control. In ordinary ninjutsu, the same is true. The largest range of fire release ninjutsu, the Great Fire Extinguishing, is generally within a range of tens of meters. Larger scale fire release can also be done, but the requirements for chakra control ability have almost increased exponentially. And the ninjutsu of water release and earth release can easily reach the scale of tens of meters or even hundreds of meters. Although the water and earth attributes of melting release also have earth overcoming water, these two relatively mild chakra attributes conflict. It's not obvious. But the conflict between the water and fire attributes is extremely obvious. Hyuga Nariku didn't say much, and directly signaled Terumi Mei to perform the boiling release ninjutsu. Terumi Mei's heart was filled with anger, and she made an angry seal and said, "Boiling escape, the art of clever mist." White high-temperature water mist spurted out from the mouth. The corrosive effect is indeed much stronger. Hyuga Nariku looked at the wooden escape branches that were quickly corroded in the mist, and nodded with satisfaction. He stretched out his hand to Terumi Mei and drew out a burst of boiling escape chakra. Boiling escape, the art of clever mist. However, the seal was completed, but the high-heat acid mist did not spit out. Call. Terumi Mei breathed a sigh of relief. She was also worried that if Nariku Hinata could easily learn the Butuna, she would really be ashamed of herself. Let me just say it, the difficulty of boiling escape is completely different from that of melting escape. Terumi Mei said proudly. The time she spent on learning boiling escape far exceeded the time she spent on melting escape. Even if Hyuga Nariku had a special method of learning the blood succession limit, it would not be possible for her to learn it so easily. Boiling escape. However, Hinata Nariku frowned and pondered for a while, then directly formed the seal again. Boiling escape, the art of clever mist. High-heat acid mist sprayed out from the sky. This. Terumi Mei was stunned. Such a large-scale boiling escape. Did you really learn this from her on the spot? Could you please teach me how to master it so quickly? Kumogakure forced me, and the Third Hokage persuaded me to die. Author, Uchiha Hokage. Chapter 128. Learning the limits of melting escape blood succession is completed. Water escape chakra attribute add 200, earth escape chakra attribute add 200. A reward for learning melt escape pops up in the background of the system. However, the reward for boil escape did not appear. Sure enough, it seems that the application of Feidu has not been developed yet. Hyuga Nariku thought secretly. The boiling acid mist shows strong corrosiveness and scorching high temperature. For the application of boiling high temperature, a strange power technique can also be developed. The principle of Tsunade's strange power is precision chakra control and instantaneous explosion. The principle of boiling's strange power is to use the high temperature of boiling to heat the chakra, thereby obtaining powerful explosive power. Have you ever thought about applying boiling escape to physical skills? Hyuga Nariku asked casually. Physical skills? Terumi. Mei was puzzled. The boiling high-heat acid mist is usually used to corrode opponents silently. How can it be applied to taijutsu? Moreover, she is originally a ninjutsu-type ninja. As an elite jounin, although physical skills are not bad, they are not outstanding. You can research this aspect in the future. Hinatan Nariku reminded lightly. Terumi Mei. Is this the limit of my blood inheritance or yours? Why did you remind me how to use it? Didn't you just learn it? Why do you seem to know more than me? Bang bang. As expected of Nariku-kun, he was able to master the blood succession limit of Feidu so easily. With a burst of gentle applause, two figures, one large and one small, walked over from a distance. They were dressed in a white kimono, with pale skin and a pair of brown snake-like eyes. Orochimaru, Hyuga Nariku said in a calm tone. He had seen Orochimaru approaching here before, but he didn't care. Orochimaru was not surprised that he was discovered. It was almost impossible for him to approach the ninja with white eyes without being noticed. Is this Feidu? Very good blood inheritance limit. As he approached, Orochimaru saw the land and rocks that had been corroded by the high-heat acid mist. Even he couldn't help but marvel at this corrosive effect. S-class rebel ninja, Sunin Orochimaru. When Terumi Mei saw the face of the visitor, she felt as if she were facing a formidable enemy. Even she from Kumogakure village knew the names of the three ninjas of Konoha. What's more, the other party has now defected to Konoha and became an S-class rebel ninja. Why do you appear in Kumogakure village? Terumi Mei asked with a wary expression. Is it difficult to enter Kumogakure village? Orochimaru said with a faint smile on his lips. As long as he wants, he can go to almost any place in the ninja world. There is no one of the 5 major ninja villages that he has not sneaked into. Hyuga Nariku nodded slightly. Indeed. Since Orochimaru's defection, it's like the sea is wide enough for fish to leap, and the sky is high enough for birds to fly. The entire ninja world is in chaos. Even before he defected, he had gone to Kumogakure to seduce his former 8 Tails Jinchurobyu. Rumi. As a result, Naruto died because of the 8 Tails rampage. After Kabuto Yakushi accidentally killed Yakushi Nanu in Iwagakure village, he was abducted by Orochimaru in the blink of an eye. Then, Orochimaru also asked Kabuto Yakushi to help him create a sound ninja village. In the original work, he also took advantage of the Kagaya clan's rebellion to kidnap Kimimaro. Later, Kimimaro was sent to kidnap Yugo Libra to study celestial arts and natural energy. Hinatan Nariku looked at Orokai the child next to Maru. His face is dirty and he looks a bit androgynous. His gender cannot be determined. This is... Hyuga Nariku said curiously, with a guess in his mind. This is a child from the Snow clan I met not long ago, his name is Bai. Orochimaru stretched out his hand and stroked Shiro's head, and said, "I hope to study ice escape on this child. I am also very interested in this blood inheritance limit." Shiro seemed very close to Orochimaru's head touch, and said respectfully, "Shiro will become a qualified tool for Lord Orochimaru." Sure enough. Hinata Nariku thought to himself. Haku, who was living in the Kingdom of Water, was actually cut off by Orochimaru. Zabuza may have been delayed because of the war between Kumogakure and Konoha. That's why he didn't meet Haku. As a result, Orochimaru, who came to the Land of Water to abduct children, became cheaper. "I haven't seen you for a few years, but I didn't expect you, Nariku-kun, to have become Hokage," Orochimaru said with some emotion. He had been in contact with Hinata Nariku. Even the Kusanagi sword that Hinata Nariku usually wore on his waist was traded from him. He had known Hinata for a long time. Nariku's talent and strength. But he didn't expect that Hyuga Nariku would improve so much in such a short period of time. During this period, he often heard about Hyuga Nariku's record. Defeat the Ob combination. Bulldoze the hidden cloud village. Use 1,000 meters. The wooden release giant Buddha easily defeated the Three Tails. Even he dared not think of these achievements. "Your eyes, are these the mutated white eyes?" Orochimaru looked at Hinata Nariku's eyes with some surprise in his eyes. The pure white pupils had light blue texture like snowflakes. It looked like a beauty that made people lose their mind. To be precise, it's the evolved Byakugan. Hyuga Nariku said, stroking his eyes slightly. "Evolution? Sure enough, we are the same person, Nariku-kun." Orochimaru was not surprised and said with a hint of passion in his eyes. He and Hinata Nariku are both interested in many things. They want to study everything. For example, he wants to study the ice escape on Shiro. For example, Hyuga Nariku learns Terumi Mei's boiling style. As for the change in Hyuga Nariku's Byakugan, in Orochimaru's opinion, this change should be within Hyuga Nariku's expectation. Hello. Next to her, Terumi Mei, who had been ignored all the time, was angry. "You two, what's going on?" Terumi Mei asked Hinata Nariku in an unusually puzzling manner. "Aren't you the Hokage of Konoha? This is a traitorous ninja in your village. Why don't you catch him? Isn't this the territory of your Kumogakure village?" Hyuga Nariku said casually. "Does it seem like I don't respect you very much if I take action?" "You're kidding. Why did he catch Orochimaru?" After the death of the second Hokage, Orochimaru can be said to be the most scientifically talented person in the ninja world. In the past life, Naruto fans may argue about who is stronger, Ludeo Madara or Ludeo Nezuo. But almost everyone agrees with this sentence. Uncle Snake, master the core technology. Let Orochimaru wander around, maybe he can research something interesting. As long as Orochimaru doesn't go to Konoha to mess around, he won't bother to deal with it. Orochimaru takes action. Terumi Mei choked and almost died of anger. "What do you mean by not showing respect for us? Have you ever respected us Kumogakure? Orochimaru, this is Kumogakure village, not a place where you can mess around." Terumi Mei straightened her expression and said seriously. "Also, the ninja from the Snow clan next to you should belong to our Kumogakure village. If she takes over the position of the 5th Mizukage in the future. If there is an orphan of the Snow clan, there will be hope for the reappearance of Ice Release." "Oh?" Orochimaru asked with great interest. "So, what are you going to do if I don't hand it over?" Even though he was in Kumogakure, Orochimaru didn't seem to panic at all. He stuck out his tongue and licked the corner of his mouth, and stared at Terumi Mei with a pair of snake eyes. "Kumogakure forced me, and the Third Hokage persuaded me to die." Author, Uchiha Hokage. Chapter 129. "If you don't take the initiative to hand it over, then I will have to do it directly." Terumi Mei's tone was not very nervous. This is Kirigakure village. Kirigakure's ninjas may come to support at any time. Even if the opponent is Orochimaru of the Konoha Sunin, Terumi Mei is not very worried. Although, she may not be the opponent's opponent. But, no matter what, at least she will be fine until Kirigakure's help arrives. Oh! Orochimaru looked at Mei Terumi with great interest and said. It seems that I have been too little active recently, and even a little girl doesn't take me seriously. Terumi Mei is about the same age as Hyuga Nariku, Heitake Kakashi, and others. Among the ninjas of this age group, except for Hinatan Nariku, a monster. Even a genius like Kakashi, Orochimaru doesn't take it seriously. Speaking, the murderous intent in Orochimaru suddenly erupted. The murderous intent was as cold as substance, almost freezing the air. How many people has he killed? Terumi Mei felt her body trembling faintly. She was a ninja born in the blood mist. What's more, she is now an elite jounin and has killed many people on the battlefield. However, in Orokai in front of Maru. Just standing here, she felt cold sweat falling on her forehead. Boiling escape, the art of clever mist. He gritted his teeth and shouted. With the hot acid mist spitting out, Terumi Mei felt that her fear had finally dissipated a little. Escape. Orochimaru stood there, showing no intention of moving. The boiling acid mist hit him directly. Ah! Heart-piercing screams came from Orochimaru's mouth. His body was melting rapidly under the boil. In a short period of time, some parts of Orochimaru's body had even exposed bones. He could no longer stand at all. On the spot, Orochimaru's body was so corroded that he fell to the ground. Solution, solved. Terumi Mei said blankly. Orochimaru was killed by her just like that? Impossible. How could the dignified Sunin of Konoha be killed by her so easily? However, the opponent directly used his body to withstand her boiling acid. Kiri, this is indeed what she should end up with. In the entire ninja world, there are not many beings who can resist her boiling escape with their bodies. Lord Orochimaru. Shiro next to him was stunned for a moment and hurriedly ran over. However, when he saw Orochimaru's broken body, Shiro didn't know what to do. He didn't even dare to touch it. If he touched it casually, he said it might make Lord Orochimaru die faster. Tears were about to fall from his seemingly neutral face. Seeing this, Terumi Mei became more and more convinced. Orochimaru was indeed defeated by her boiling escape. Humph, even if the Sunin wanted to directly take over my boiling release, it would be too much. Terumi Mei snorted, planning to step forward and take Shiro away. Yet, at this moment, Orochimaru, covered in saliva, rushed out from the mouth of the remains on the ground. While rushing towards Terumi Mei, another Kusanagi sword came out of his mouth. Terumi Mei was completely unexpectedly, the grass pheasant sword was held directly on his neck. I have to say that Feidu is indeed a very strong blood inheritance limit. The corrosion rate was so fast that even I was a little surprised. No wonder you, Nariku-kun, are interested in this blood inheritance limit. Orochimaru took the Kusanagi sword in his hand and turned it slightly to the side. This lineage limit does have research value. However, for Nariku-kun's sake, I won't continue to attack you. Orochimaru saw Terumi Mei retreating and did not continue to take action. Hyuga Nariku just learned the boiling style from this little girl. He probably wouldn't have allowed himself to capture her and take her back to study. What a pity. Terumi Mei backed away with some lingering fear, and after hiding far enough away, she spoke. Weren't you hit by me just now? Behind Orochimaru, the remains that were previously corroded by boiling are still there. Remember, never think you can kill Orochimaru. Hinatan Nariku reminded. Orochimaru may not be the strongest, but he is definitely the most stubborn. Nagato, Obito, and Uchiha Madara. Even if these people are dead, Orochimaru can still live well. Even if these people are dead, Orochimaru can still live well. Sealed by the artifact Ten-Fist Sword, Orochimaru also has a backup means of resurrection. If Hyuga Naraku wants to kill Orochimaru, he not only needs to kill Orochimaru here. He also needs to return to Konoha and remove the curse seal of the sky from Mitarashi Anko. Get rid of it. Moreover, Hinatan Naraku is not entirely sure if Orochimaru has any other means of resurrection. Even if we don't mention the resurrection backup of the curse seal of the sky, the Orochimaru substitution technique is also an excellent means of saving lives. Just now like that. Got burned by Amaterasu. It's okay, Orochimaru's substitute technique of spitting me out. It was corroded by the boiling technique, it's okay, it's also a spitting out technique. Naraku-kun seems to have great confidence in me. Orochimaru smiled proudly. In terms of strength, he may not be Hinatan Naraku's opponent. But in terms of life-saving means, in the entire ninja world, he is worthy of everyone. He said casually. But Orochimaru suddenly stood up, holding his hand. The Kusanagi sword stabbed Hinatan Naraku. Keng. The sharp sound of metal clashing suddenly sounded. So fast. After a beat, Terumi May couldn't help but exclaimed. She didn't react at all just now. She only saw Orochimaru's figure suddenly disappear. Then, she heard the sharp sound of two Kusanagi swords colliding together. At some point, Hyuga Naraku also pulled out the Kusanagi sword worn at his waist, and easily received Orochimaru's swift blow. Are these two guys still human? Or is it that my physical skills are really bad? Terumi May murmured to herself in a daze. The speed at which Orochimaru suddenly burst out and attacked was completely different from the speed at which he dealt with her before. Obviously, Orochimaru was not serious at all when he dealt with her just now. He directly used his body to catch the boiling release, just to experience the intensity of the boiling release. When attacking Hinatan Naraku, Orochimaru's speed made it almost impossible for her to catch any traces of movement. What's even more exaggerated is that the one being attacked, Hyuga Naraku, not only accepted the attack, but even acted extremely relaxed. She is obviously an elite jounin. Although she is good at ninjutsu, her physical skills are at least not bad. However, after reaching the speed of Orochimaru and Hinatan Naraku, Terumi May had some doubts about life for a while, wondering if her taijutsu was really a bit poor. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Kumogakure forced me, and the Third Hokage persuaded me to die. Author, Uchiha Hokage. Chapter 130. What, do you want to avenge your teacher? Hyuga Naraku easily held the long sword thrust by Orochimaru and said casually. Orochimaru was silent for a few seconds and said in a deep voice. I won't do that kind of meaningless thing. Whether that old man is dead or not has nothing to do with me. Hyuga Naraku chuckled and didn't say much. Orochimaru's mentality towards Sarutobi Hiruzen was very complicated. The Konoha collapse plan in the original work can be seen as Orochimaru wanting to give his teacher a decent death. On the one hand, he killed his teacher with his own hands. In revenge, the other party gave the position of Hokage to Namikaze Minato. On the other hand, he let Sarutobi Hiruzen die as a hero who protected the village. Sarutobi Hiruzen became more and more in his old age. When he was in doubt, such a way of death could still save him some face. However, now, Sarutobi Hiruzen was killed by Hyuga Naraku. He was killed only after he was completely ruined and lost everything. Mew. Everyone in the Leaves loathed and even hated Sarutobi Hiruzen. 2 sons, 3 old friends, and 4 ninja clans were all destroyed. The second generation Hokage, the teacher who was reincarnated from the dirty soil, personally deprived Sarutobi Hiruzen of his Hokage title. He even personally ordered the execution of Hiruzen Sarutobi. It can be said that when Hiruzen Sarutobi died, there was nothing left from the inside out. For Orochimaru, this was not what he wanted. As a result, what Orochimaru hopes is to make Hiruzen Sarutobi regret not giving him the position of Hokage. And after that, kill his teacher with his own hands. As the last bit of master-disciple friendship, Orochimaru will save the face of Sarutobi Hiruzen after death. He ended up with that result, and he couldn't blame anyone. Orochimaru jumped slightly and said after retreating. Even so. But he just took action, which is indeed an important reason. In Orochimaru's view, Hinata Nariku took away what he wanted to do. I just want to see your current strength, Nariku-kun. Dispelling the messy thoughts in his mind, Orochimaru said with a smile on his lips. Although he had heard a lot about Hyuga Nariku's achievements, he had never experienced it personally. Moreover, he rolled his eyes at Hyuga Nariku's evolved, also very curious. I heard that the leader of the Uchiha clan, Uchiha Fugaku, and the number 1 master, Uchiha Shisui, both activated the Sharingan above the 3 Megatama. The evolved Sharingan seems to be able to use a ninjutsu that can compete with tailed beasts. I wonder, Nariku-kun, how strong your Byakugan will be after it evolves. Orochimaru said, staring at Hinata Nariku's eyes. Originally, he once thought that the Byakugan was inferior to the Sharingan in terms of strength. However, he met Hyuga Nariku, an alien. However, before he defected to Konoha, Hinata Nariku's eyes were still just an ordinary Byakugan. At least in appearance. And now, there has been a significant change in appearance. Hyuga Nariku was not surprised that Orochimaru was well informed. Although Orochimaru had defected. But, after all, he is the man who led many Konoha ninjas through World War II and 3 World War. Although Orochimaru's prestige is not as good as Namikaze Minato, at least it is not bad. Even after he defected, there are still channels to get news from Konoha. After the 3 Magatama's Sharingan evolved, it was called the Mangekyo Sharingan, and the ninjutsu that confronted the tailed beast head-on was called Susanoo. Hyuga Nariku didn't avoid anything and said directly. As for my eye strength, you can try it. With that said, Hinata Nariku raised his hand towards Orochimaru, and gravity exploded. Without saying a word, Orochimaru found that his body was flying towards Hinata Nariku, pulled by an invisible force. What power is this? Could it be? Orochimaru's pupils shrank suddenly, and a guess emerged in his mind. He was attracted into the air by gravity, unable to control his body at all, and flew straight towards Hinata Nariku. Then, when Orochimaru was about to approach, Hyuga Nariku's palm shook, and the gravity turned into repulsive force, and Orochimaru was thrown away. What? The violent repulsive force, like flying sand and rocks, knocked Orochimaru and all the trees behind him flying backwards. This force. Orochimaru reluctantly stood up. That's absolutely right. The one who just knocked him away should be the repulsive force. Just like Pain's Samsara Eye. At first, Pain and the Red Sand Scorpion came to him together. After a battle with the Red Sand Scorpion, he pretended to be defeated. In fact, he took the opportunity to sneak attack Pain, trying to seize Pain's Samsara Eye. The result? Just like just now, he was easily knocked away by the majestic repulsion. Were the forces just now gravity and repulsion? Orochimaru patted the dust on his clothes and continued. I recently joined an interesting little organization and there was a guy there who had similar abilities. Hyuga Nariku's mouth moved slightly. A small organization? I'm afraid it's the Akatsuki organization. Orochimaru has already joined the Akatsuki organization. However, it is obvious that Orochimaru has no loyalty to the Akatsuki organization. He is willing to join the Akatsuki organization. On the one hand, he coveted the reincarnation eye, and on the other hand, he probably wanted to defraud funds. Although he said it very lightly. Orochimaru was very afraid in his heart. Pain's eyes were the legendary reincarnation eyes of the Sage of Six Paths. Hyuga Nariku's evolved Byakugan actually has a similar ability to control gravity and repulsion. The three major pupil techniques in the ninja world are Byakugan, Sharingan, and Rinnegan. Sharingan, according to Hyuga Nariku, is called Manjikyu after evolution. Sharingan can perform ninjutsu like Susanoo and fight tailed beasts in hand-to-hand combat. Byakugan, after evolution, has the ability to master gravitational repulsion. The same is true for the Rinnegan. Orochimaru has only seen these aspects of the Rinnegan. Pain he doesn't often take action, and he doesn't know what the Rinnegan's abilities are. Thinking about this, Orochimaru couldn't help but feel jealous and longing in his heart. These bloodstains on eye skills, even the white eyes he once looked down on, all have something that makes him feeling amazing power. Seeing that Hinata Nariku had no intention of responding, Orochimaru continued. In addition to controlling gravity and repulsion, does your Byakugan have no other abilities? Yes, there is, but it is not necessary to deal with you. Hyuga Nariku said without any fluctuations in his voice. To deal with Orochimaru, there is no need for him to enter the reincarnation chakra mode. Yeah? Then let me see it. Orochimaru was slightly angry, his speed exploded, and he rushed forward. Hyuga Nariku's attitude is almost the same as that of Pain. He doesn't think that others are on the same level as him at all. It's annoying. He is also a son in Orokai after all. Pill. Meaningless. Hyuga Nariku watched Orochimaru approaching. It wasn't until the opponent was close that he gently raised his hand and grabbed the opponent's arm. What? Orochimaru's face froze. This speed, so fast. How could he be caught so easily when he burst out with all his strength? Let's go back. Hyuga Nariku shouted, and punched Orochimaru back. How is this possible? Orochimaru's face was slightly distorted as he stood still. Whether it was speed or strength, he was far superior to him. And this was without the need to control gravity and repulsion. Hyuga Nariku's current strength is compared to what he was last before he defected. After one contact, I don't know how powerful it became. Kumogakure forced me, and the Third Hokage persuaded me to die. Author, Uchiha Hokage. Chapter 131. Monster. These two guys are monsters. Terumi. Mei looked at the fight between the two in front of her with a horrified look in her eyes. After a failed trial, Orochimaru did not give up. He did not try to use ninjutsu, but simply used taijutsu to fight in hand-to-hand combat. A pure taijutsu. Confrontation. Orochimaru's speed and strength, in Terumi Mei's opinion, is definitely a 5 Kage level powerhouse. Each of the Konoha Sunin who are in their 40s this year are at the peak of their strength in their lives. Even if it is just a simple punch or kick, it is not something that she can easily take now. If she were to deal with Orochimaru, once the opponent gets close, she would almost definitely lose. If she wants to defeat the opponent, she must rely on the ninjutsu widen the distance and gave full play to the advantage of his own blood inheritance limit. However, with the speed and strength that Orochimaru is showing now, there is nothing he can do against Hyuga Nariku. Orochimaru can't even touch Hyuga Nariku's clothes. Let's meet. If Orochimaru's power makes Terumi afraid, and at the same time, she thinks she can reach the other's height in the next few years. With Hinata Nariku's current performance, she can't see any possibility of surpassing him. Puff. Orochimaru was knocked back by a punch again. He stretched out his hand and gently pressed his injured abdomen, and did not attack again. In the short period of crazy fighting just now, he had already seen Hinata Nariku's current strength. In speed, strength, and agility the ones above have far surpassed him. He can still feel. Hinata Nariku still held back on strength when he defeated him. Otherwise, he might have been knocked down the first time. He has been seriously injured. And in terms of speed, facing his almost full-strength high-speed attack, Hyuga Naruko was like playing with a child, not taking it seriously at all. How is this possible? He is Orochimaru. Orochimaru's eyes flickered for a while, then he slowly said. I don't understand why, Naruko-kun, your taijutsu has become so strong. He knows that Hinata Naruko attaches great importance to taijutsu and swordsmanship. He also knows that the opponent's taijutsu is very strong. But, at least, before, it was impossible to be so strong as to crush him. Don't judge me by the upper limits of an ordinary ninja, Orochimaru. Hyuga Naruko said lightly. After opening the reincarnation eye, he has already stepped halfway to the 6th level. Even if he has not yet ushered in the real leap of life level. But there is an essential difference between him and ordinary ninjas. Reincarnation, the opening of his eyes, brought almost all-round qualitative changes to him. Ninjas, what's the upper limit? Orochimaru muttered. What is the upper limit of a ninja's strength? In the past, the strongest ninjas known by Orochimaru should be the two legendary ones. Senju Hashirama and Uchiha Madara. Of course, now we have to add another Hyuga Naruko. Here, Uchiha Madara and Hyuga Naruko are both Ijutsu ninjas. And both Senju Hashirama and Hinata Naruko have mastered wood release. If you want to know the upper limit of ninja strength, I'm afraid you have to start from these aspects. Orochimaru thought to himself. When he was in Konoha, he had presided over experiments on wood escape. However, they all failed. Not long ago, he learned that there was a ninja named Yamato who survived the experiment and became the lucky one to inherit the wood release. And Uchiha Sharingan, on top of the 3 Megatama, has the level of a kaleidoscope. If you want to see the limits of ninjas, your main research goals should be these. Of course, it would be closer to directly study Hinata Naruko's Byakugan or Pain's Rinnegan. But he can't beat these two people. I will continue to study until I see the scenery at the top of the ninja world, Naruko-kun. I have enough time. Orochimaru stuck out his tongue and licked the corner of his mouth, and said with a confident smile. Having completed the art of reincarnation, he has enough time to study all the things he is interested in. Hinata Naruko nodded slightly and said. I am looking forward. Let Orochimaru do it. Maybe he can come up with something interesting. Even if Orochimaru gives birth to a child one day, it's not worth being shocked. Orochimaru. Terumi. Mei stood in the distance and said. That child of the Snow Clan, you must stay today. Even if I'm not your opponent, I can at least delay Mizukage-sama until he arrives. Since you dare to sneak into our Kumogakure village without permission, don't even think about leaving easily. Terumi Mei stared at Orochimaru and Hinata Naruko with a wary expression. She knew that when it came to taijutsu, she was no match for either of them. But as a ninjutsu-type ninja, the blood inheritance limit is her greatest advantage. Don't look at me, I won't help him. Hyuga Naruko waved his hand casually and said. It is impossible for Orochimaru to need his help to escape. Moreover, Orochimaru also has his own self-esteem. If he helps him escape, he may still be resented by him. Your Mizukage-sama may not have time to deal with me. Orochimaru had a playful smile on his lips, raised his fingers and said to the side. When I came here before, I heard strange noises from the Kagaya clan. They seem to be planning something big. The smile in Orochimaru's eyes grew stronger. He seemed to be preparing to watch a good show. This is why he dared to enter Kumogakure openly and even appeared in front of Terumi Mei. The Kagaya clan is likely to break out in rebellion. By then, Kumogakure will only be busy taking care of himself. The 4th Mizukage can only be busy suppressing the rebellion, and there will be no time to trouble Orochimaru. It would be nice if he doesn't add fuel to the turmoil of Kumogakure. The Kagaya clan. Terumi Mei's pupils shrank. This is Kurogakure's strongest clan among the remaining clans. Moreover, everyone in the Kagaya clan is very warlike. In fact, many of them are completely bloodthirsty lunatics. It seems that they are completely bloodthirsty lunatics. It was to confirm what Orochimaru said. Not far away from the Kagaya clan, a shocking cry of killing suddenly erupted. Is the Kagaya clan really in rebellion? Terumi May feels bad. In this situation, it is completely impossible for her to go to Orochimaru to trouble her. She even hopes that Orochimaru will not come to trouble her. With her own strength, she cannot. The rebellion of the Kagaya clan may be put down. We must inform the Mizukage-sama as soon as possible. It seems that it is not just the Kagaya clan. Hinata Nariku looked at the entire Kirigakure village from afar. It seems that the entire Kirigakure village has suddenly fallen into civil strife. The explosions and flames of the detonating talisman appeared in various places in Kirigakure. How could it be possible? Terumi May can't understand. Didn't the fourth generation get rid of control? Kirigakure should get better little by little. How could someone suddenly rebel again? That's right, this is more reasonable. Hyuga Nariku pondered for a while and nodded. Are you currently investigating who has been controlled or bribed by that masked man? As for the masked man, instead of being checked out by you one by one, it is better to let those chess pieces play a role in the end. Maybe someone can kill Yagura. The smile on Orochimaru's face remained unchanged, and a lot of thoughts emerged in his mind. At the previous meeting of the Akatsuki organization, the newly added masked man should be the person who controlled the fourth Mizukage behind the scenes. However, Orochimaru felt puzzled. What's more, is there any benefit for the other party to let Kirigakure fall into civil strife now? Hinata Nariku is still in Kirigakure village. It can be said that the future direction depends on Hinata Nariku's opinion. Even if Kirigakure is plunged into civil strife now, at most it can only weaken Kirigakure a bit. The other party's purpose is just to weaken Kirigakure, or is there some other hatred between Kirigakure and Kirigakure? Orochimaru secretly pondered, becoming more and more curious about the identity of the masked man. At the same time, the sound of fighting in Kirigakure village was no longer concealed. There were rebellions everywhere. Kirigakure has really been infiltrated into a sieve. Terumi May had a bitter look on her face. Not far away, figures had surrounded the place. Each one had a strange bun and two cinnabar red dots on their brows. The leader of the Kagaya clan came out with a look of lust in his eyes. With bloody expressions, he stared at Hinata Nariku and the others. Now you meet the person you want to kill. Kill them and let them see how powerful the Kagaya clan is. Kumogakure forced me, and the Third Hokage persuaded me to die. Author, Uchiha Hokage. Chapter 132. This hairstyle. Hinata Nariku's eyes fell on the hair of Kagaya clan ninjas. This hairstyle is very similar to his impression of the ancestral country in the original work. What is the relationship between the Kagaya clan and its Satsuki Kagaya? Hyuga Nariku couldn't help but be curious. The ninjas of the Kagaya clan have two cinnabar red dots on their foreheads. And Kagaya Itsutsuki has two symmetrical white marks on her forehead. Maybe the Kagaya clan is using this. What does it commemorate? And more importantly, there are certain similarities between the corpse veins of the Kagaya clan and the ashes of Itsutsuki Kagaya. This has to make people wonder whether the Kagaya clan also has Itsutsuki, the bloodline of Mu Kagaya. However, the problem is that most of the things about Kagaya's family back then are no longer clear. The two brothers Golden Horn and Silver Horn in Union Village are also said to have the blood of the Six Paths Sage. In the Land of Fire, the Warring States period, there used to be a tribe called the Hag Oromo clan during the period. It is not sure what these have to do with the Sage of Six Paths back then. Hey, Orochimaru. Hyuga Nariku didn't pay attention to the approaching Kagaya clan, but asked Orochimaru. Have you ever understood the origin of the Kagaya clan's bloodline? I also want to know this. Orochimaru licked the corner of his mouth, with excitement in his eyes. However, I didn't find much literature. The most important goal of his visit to Kumogakure village this time is the corpse veins of the Kagaya clan. In Orochimaru's view, among Kumogakure's many blood successor limits, this is the only one that he really values. Others, comparatively speaking, ice escape, boiling escape, and melt escape are all quite different. Hey, you two idiots, are you looking down on us? Kagaya clan leader shouted angrily. Hinata Nariku and Orochimaru were chatting as if no one else was around, as if they were nothing. They were obviously idiots who were about to be killed by them. How dare they ignore Kagaya clan? Since you happen to meet him, let's get to know him. Hyuga Nariku took out the Kusanagi sword from his waist and looked at the ninjas of the Kagaya clan with some curiosity. You stupid guy. He actually wants to use a sword to deal with the corpse veins of our Kagaya clan. Kagaya clan leader mocked with a bloodthirsty expression, stretched out his hand to Hinata Nariku, and shouted. Corpse bone veins, 10 fingers piercing bullets. Swish, swish. With the sound of breaking through the sky, dense finger bone bullets were shot out quickly. The speed is good. Hyuga Nariku raised the Kusanagi sword, commented lightly, then raised the sword and danced lightly, slashing away the bone bullets. Keng. The collision of the blade and the bone bullets sounded one after another. However, what surprised Hyuga Nariku was that the bone bullet was not directly cut off by him, it was just cut to the side. Not much strength, just hard enough. A bone bullet that was chopped away easily penetrated a big tree behind. Also sharp enough. Hyuga Nariku nodded and commented. Orochimaru, on his side, just attacked a Kagaya ninja, but was stopped by the bone spurs growing on the opponent's back. It is indeed a corpse vein, an excellent blood succession limit. Orochimaru stepped back, the desire in his eyes becoming more and more obvious. In terms of sharpness, the bone spurs of the corpse veins will be the strongest weapon. In terms of defense, the bones of the Kagaya clan are strong enough to withstand most attacks. And, the ninjas of the Kagaya clan can grow bones in various parts of their bodies. Even if they attack from behind, they may be defended by the suddenly grown bones. This is an absolute defense comparable to the Kaishin of the Hyuga clan. What do these two guys think of the Kagaya clan? Terumi May feels that her mood is a little subtle. Although the Kagaya clan has rebelled now. But this is at least the power of their Kumogakure. And the current attitudes of Hinata Nariku and Orochimaru are as if they are testing. In a test, Kagaya is the Night clan strong enough? Like two examiners, testing the strength of the corpse veins. On her side, facing the attacks of a large number of Kagaya ninjas, although the situation is not too dangerous, it is not that easy either. If not, most Kagaya ninja went to attack Hyuga Nariku and Orochimaru, and her current situation will be even worse. She has just launched a signal flare. We can only hope that the village can send people to support as soon as possible. The Kagaya clan leader has already cooperated with Hyuga Nariku. They fought together. However, even with Tsubaki Mai's high-speed taijutsu, he was completely unable to attack Hinata Nariku at all. The opponent's speed was far faster than him. Damn it, is this all you can do? The Kagaya clan leader stopped chasing after him and said angrily. The bones in his hands have become tattered. This was caused by Hyuga Nariku using the Kusanagi sword to cut him like this again and again. I have to say that your corpse bone veins are indeed very strong, and they were not cut off by me. Hyuga Nariku held up his sword and exclaimed. After being slashed so many times with his pheasant sword, he still wasn't chopped to pieces. Chief Kagaya felt like he wanted to curse. Usually others are shocked by the strength of the corpse veins of their Kagaya clan. Although Hinata Nariku also meant this. But what do you mean? Didn't it get cut off by you? The arrogant attitude in the other party's words made the pupils of the Kagaya clan leader tremble violently, and his crazy desire to kill soared. Sudden. Hinata Nariku's figure in front of him flashed and disappeared. The next second, a voice appeared behind him. "Since you said so, I'll just give it a try with my fist." Boom. A fierce punch hit Kagaya clan leader's back directly. Click. A clear cracking sound emerged. The bones that suddenly grew out of the back blocked Hinata Nariku's fierce punch. Although he was punched, there was a trace of crack, but he still managed to parry the blow. However, although he was not hit in the body, under this huge power, the Kagaya clan leader was still punched and flew away. Ahem. Damn it! The Kagaya clan leader, who was lying on the ground, struggled to get up and looked at Hinata Nariku with fear on his face. The opponent was so fast just now. He was already behind him before he could even react. Fortunately, his defense was enough, blocked the opponent's sneak attack. It's so stupid to directly attack the corpse veins of our Kagaya clan with fists. The Kagaya clan leader stood up and stared at Hinata Nariku. Yet, Hyaga Nariku calmed down slightly. He mobilized the water escape and fire escape chakra in his body. Then, let me try the moves I just learned on you. As he said that, Hinata Nariku shouted. Boiling escape, unparalleled strange power. The whole figure was shot out like a cannonball, and the chakra all over his body became extremely hot. At the same time, a huge force gathered on his right hand. It's useless, corpse bone veins are the strongest defense. Kagaya clan leader yelled. He was attacked from behind before, and he didn't react. This time, Hyaga Nariku hit him directly from the front. Even if he is not the opponent's opponent in terms of speed, he still has enough defense time. Intensive, the bones were alternately stacked in front of him, forming a hard bone vein shield. At the same time, the right hand of the Kagaya clan leader regrew a handful of intact bones. He was ready to kill Hinata Nariku with his bones. When the shield blocked him, he directly used the bone in his right hand to kill him. However, click. A clear and sweet cracking sound sounded. The extremely hard bone shield became like clay in front of Hinata Nariku's fist and was easily broken. Got it? How can it be? Kagaya clan leader watched the scene with splitting eyes. The hard and thick bone shield was directly shattered. A fierce punch penetrated the bone shield and hit him directly. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Kumogakure forced me, and the Third Hokage persuaded me to die. Author, Uchiha Hokage. Chapter 133. Even though he was blocked by the bone shield for a moment, Hinata Nariku's fist was still fierce and powerful, hitting the Kagaya clan leader directly in the abdomen. Poof! Spitting out a large mouthful of blood, Patriarch Kagaya was knocked upside down and flew out, breaking a big tree before stopping. That was strange power just now. Orochimaru on the other side, while fighting, was also paying attention to this side. He just heard the word strange power from Hinata Nariku in the air. And the following scene also confirmed this. Chief Kagaya said the extremely hard bone shield was directly shattered by a punch. The Kagaya clan leader who was sent flying hit a tree. Orochimaru had no doubt that the punch just now had tearing effects. The power of the earth. Such a brutal power reminded Orochimaru of his former teammate, Tsunade. Tsunade, who has always been considered a medical ninja, is the strongest among the three ninjas in terms of strength. Strong. As teammates, Orochimaru and Jiraiya are extremely familiar with Tsunade's strange power. Can you master strange powers by using boiling escape? Orochimaru was thinking secretly in his heart. Terumi Mei was even more surprised than Orochimaru. She just heard clearly the words from Hinata Nariku's mouth. Boiling escape, unparalleled weird power. And the scorching breath that burst out from Hinata Nariku's body, also very similar to Feidun. Is this a physical technique performed using boiling style? Terumi Mei recalled Hyaga Nariku's words before, apply boiling style to physical arts. At that time, Terumi May even felt it was baffling. She has mastered boiling style for so many years, and she has never thought about it like this. How come you just learned it, and then you reacted like this? Come to instruct her as a teacher. Moreover, just now, Terumi May also thought about whether she could apply her boiling style to taijutsu. The answer is, very difficult. Her boiling style has the dual properties of corrosion and high temperature. These two, any point is extremely harmful to the body. Even if she has mastered the boiling escape, if she does not control it well, she may still hurt herself. Whether it is the meridians being corroded by acid or the body being hurt by high temperature. However, now, Hinata Nariku actually used it again. Terumi May felt a little numb. Whose blood inheritance limit is this? Didn't you and I learn it? How come the moves you master now, even I, the original owner, don't know this? Learning the blood limit of boiling escape is completed. Water escape chakra attribute add 400, fire escape chakra attribute add 400. A message popped up in the system background. Really? Hyuga Nariku's heart skipped a beat, and he was not surprised. Boiling can not only be used as a ninjutsu, but can also be used to strengthen oneself and improve the power of taijutsu. Just like the five-tailed Jinchuriki of Iwagakure village. However, to do this requires extremely high chakra control ability. Otherwise, the chakra heated to the boiling point will be the first to be injured by the practitioner himself. Cough, cough. Chief Kagaya coughed blood and walked over from a distance. He was severely injured in that moment. But soon, he found out. Along with the severe pain in his body, his corpse veins seemed to become stronger. Although I don't understand why. However, the Kagaya clan leader didn't care. Just become stronger. As long as you can kill the enemy. You guy, are you ready to die? Kagaya clan leader was panting rapidly under the severe pain, but his face was full of crazy smile. Hinata Nariku frowned slightly. Under his reincarnation eye observation, he could feel that the other party's body had changed. It became more stronger, but also weaker. Corpse veins dance of Karasatsu. Kagaya clan leader roared miserably, dozens of bone spurs sprouted from his body, and he spun towards Hinata Nariku at high speed. That's fine. Hyuga Nariku didn't have the slightest intention to dodge. He gently raised his right hand and made a fist. I hope you can let me see where the upper limit of corpse bone veins is. As he said that, Hyuga Nariku stretched out his hand and punched out, hitting Kagaya's clan leader who was covered in bones. Ken. The Kagaya clan leader's body was stagnated as he charged at high speed. His spinning body was forcibly stopped. Already. Click, click, the cracking sound keeps ringing. This. Chief Kagaya was stunned. Was he picked up just like that? Just blocked by a simple punch, or even broken in turn? It's like being completely crushed. When did his corpse veins become so weak? Thoughts came to mind one by one. However, Hinata Nariku has no intention of stopping. Another punch, accompanied by a clear and sweet sound, broke all the bones and knocked the Kagaya clan leader flying out again. Chief Kagaya, who was flying in the air, suddenly realized, it was not that his corpse veins were not strong enough. It's just that the opponent's power is too strong. Cough, you bastard. Kagaya clan leader's aura became weaker. He stared at Hinata Nariku, and then suddenly laughed. Ha 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 ha, really, why should I defend against your attack? Clan leader Kagaya laughed crazily as if he suddenly figured it out. Obviously, I just need to kill you. At the same time, a sharp bone spur protruded from his right hand. The bone spur continued to extend forward, and at the same time, the entire right arm bone also grew out, eventually turning into a huge drill-shaped sharp bone spear. Chief Kagaya he kept vomiting blood from his mouth, and a trace of it fell on the bone spear in his right hand. Turning the toughest bones into spears, this is the strongest attack of our Kagaya clan. Kagaya clan leader has a ferocious smile on his face, and blood is constantly flowing from the corner of his mouth. Combined with the strange hairstyle and deeply sunken eye sockets, he looks chilling. Prepare to die. Tremble in front of the Kagaya clan's strongest attack. He kept coughing blood from his mouth, and the bone spear in his right hand spun at high speed like a drill, charging towards Hinatan Nariku with ferocious power. Not a bad attack. Hyuga Nariku commented calmly, and slowly formed a seal in his hand. Would escape, the most powerful technique on the list. Crash. A huge grimace-like shield grew from the ground and stood in front of Hinatan Nariku. It's useless. This is the strongest attack of the corpse vein. Crush them all. Kagaya clan leader's pupils trembled violently, and the crazily rotating drill-shaped bone spear stabbed the ghost-face shield. With flying wood chips, the bone spear and the wooden shield collided fiercely. Together. Break it into pieces. Split it, The crazy look slowly disappeared from the face of the Kagaya clan leader, and a touch of astonishment appeared bit by bit. No matter how hard his bone spear pierces through, it can't penetrate this ghostly face shield. Eventually, the momentum fades. And the ghost face shield has still not been penetrated. Kaka. The ghost face shield splits to both sides. Hinatan Nariku's figure appeared from behind. It's okay, but the so-called strongest attack is just that. Hinatan Nariku said while looking at the wooden shields on both sides. Kumogakure forced me, and the Third Hokage persuaded me to die. Author, Uchiha Hokage. Chapter 134. The ranking technique is considered to be the strongest among the wood release ninjutsu that is specially used for defense. Even the powerful Susanoo slashes can be easily received. Defending against the thrust of the spear with the strongest bone veins is naturally no problem. But the strongest spear of corpse vein has a piercing ability. The grimace-shaped wooden shield had very obvious signs of damage. Ordinary defensive ninjutsu cannot defend against this level of attack. Is this wood release? It's such an amazing power. Orochimaru looked at the shield of ranking jutsu from a distance, with a trace of desire in his eyes. He also saw the strongest spear of the Kagaya clan leader just now. Even here, he can feel the amazing powerful. If he were to try to block this attack, he would probably need to channel the triple Rashomon. Besides, this is just the defensive aspect of Mudun. Thinking of the power of the first Hokage Mudun to suppress the ninja world, Orochimaru could hardly suppress his inner desire. However, the more he thought about this Orochimaru, the more painful he felt. He wanted Hinatan Nariku's Byakugan, and also wanted Hinatan Nariku's wood release. But he couldn't beat it. Moreover, he can be sure. Although Hyuga Nariku seems to be very familiar with him when talking to him, he must be wary of him. It is impossible to give him a chance to sneak attack. The same is true for Pain. He wants Pain's Samsara Eye. But he is not Pain's opponent. Moreover, before he joined the Akatsuki organization, he had already attacked Pain once. There is no way that Pain would not be wary of him. Orochimaru couldn't help but want to sigh. He was thinking about many things, all of which are difficult for him to get, or even impossible to get. On the Kagaya clan leader's side. Looking at Hinatan Nariku who was slowly approaching him, his body couldn't help but tremble. You. Chief Kagaya retreated uncontrollably. He pointed at Hinatan Nariku, but couldn't say a word. His strongest attacks were actually easily received by the opponent. Is this a human or a ghost? What, is that the only level? Hyuga Nariku approached slowly, with a hint of disappointment in his voice. The strength of Kagaya's clan leader's corpse veins is already very strong. However, it is not enough at this level. Hinatan Nariku's reincarnation eye can be seen, in the blood of Patriarch Kagaya, the concentration of a certain special substance is gradually increasing. And with the appearance of this special substance, Patriarch Kagaya's corpse bone veins become harder and sharper. But at the same time, the body he is also getting weaker. Is it related to killing the ashes together? Hyuga Nariku's eyes flickered slightly. Kagaya Itsutsuki's ash bones is a ninjutsu at the level of the blood successor snare. The ability to decompose is stronger than the 6 paths level Kyudeo Jade. 6 paths mode Naruto, his shadow clone, could only be shattered after being hit by the ash bones of the shared killer. Uchiha Obito, who once became the Ten-Tails Jinchuriki and whose body was greatly strengthened, also died under this attack. If we say that corpse vein is an infinitely degraded version of ash bones, then it would make sense. Hyuga Nariku looked at the weakened Kagaya clan leader. The stronger the corpse veins, the closer he would be to killing the ash bones together. The Kagaya clan members who do not have the status of the blood succession network cannot withstand this powerful ability, and in turn will injured by his own corpse veins. Therefore, the closer you get to the ashes of the common killer, the closer you get to death. Hateful. Kagaya clan leader looked at Hinata Nariku's deathly expression and felt his heart being stung by madness. You bastard, how dare you underestimate our Kagaya clan? Kagaya clan leader forced himself to stand. At the same time, a force originating from his blood caused him to spurt out blood, and he shouted violently. Corpse bone veins, dance of early ferns. Boom. 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 The earth is divided. Countless bone spears rise into the sky. Almost in the blink of an eye, the entire battlefield is covered with endless pale white bone spears. This is... Orochimaru's pupils shrank suddenly, and he jumped up quickly with Kimimaro, the child who was fighting with him. What kind of move is this? Terumi Mei's heart was shocked. It's not like she didn't understand the Kagaya clan. However, she had never heard of the Kagaya clan's corpse bone veins having such a powerful move. In the bone forest all over the battlefield, every bone they are more than 10 meters long. This is a real forest of bones. The forest blocking the bone spurs is pierced and chopped like soil. Is this the dance of the early fern? The clan leader actually successfully used this trick. Great, Mizukage's seat should be taken by our strongest Kagaya clan. Many Kagaya clan members recognized this move. Their records include the Hayabari no dance move, but no one has used it for a long time. Many Kagaya clan ninjas were completely unable to react in the battle. His body was pierced by the bone spurs that shot up into the sky. However, the Kagaya clan who launched the rebellion didn't even care. In their opinion, it was all worth it in order to show the power of their Kagaya clan. Ahem, wheeze. The body of the Kagaya clan leader appeared from a bone more than 10 meters long. His momentum was extremely weak. But, seeing this boundless forest of bones, he felt that the pain all over his body could be forgotten. Weak ants, this is the power of our Kagaya clan. Kagaya clan leader shouted crazily with blood on the corner of his mouth. He has never been able to perform this move in the past. Today, he finally saw it. At this moment, he almost felt that he had become a god on the battlefield. As long as he has become a god on the battlefield, if he wants, he can travel through the bone forest and emerge from any bone spur. Good. Hyuga Nariku commented in a calm voice. The dance of Hayafern is similar to the wood releases tree world arrival and the magnetic releases sand iron world technique. They are both extremely large-scale ninjutsu that can cover the battlefield. Clan leader Kagaya's expression froze. Then, there is crazy dissatisfaction. This is the most powerful move of the Kagaya clan's corpse veins. It's just a simple sentence, isn't it? Stupid guy. Under the cold tone of the Kagaya clan leader, the figure suddenly disappeared, and then reappeared on a bone spear behind Hinata Nariku. Go to hell. With a crazy roar, the drill-shaped bone spear in his right hand stabbed Hinata Nariku. However, Hinatan Naruka turned his body slightly to one side and easily dodged it. He's already so weak. Hyuga Naruka sighed slightly. With this attack speed, Orochimaru can easily dodge here. After forcibly using this strongest move, the body of the Kaguya clan leader has become dilapidated. Why, how could this happen? Chief Kaguya was stunned. Under the shuttle attack of Zhao Fern Dance, the attack of the strongest spear was easily dodged. Is his speed too slow, or is the opponent's speed too fast? No, it's impossible. The leader of the Kaguya clan seemed to suddenly burst out with his final momentum and shouted. Our Kaguya clan is the strongest, and our corpse bone vein is the strongest. He has obviously used the dance of early fern. How could it become weaker in turn? There are only the strongest people, not the strongest ninjutsu. Hyuga Naruka shook his head and slowly began to form seals in his hands. Boiling escape, the art of clever mist. The overwhelming acid mist spurted out, filling the entire bone forest. Under the high-speed corrosion of the boiling acid mist, the towering woods began to dissolve at a speed visible to the naked eye. Click. The sound of cracking continued to sound. The corroded ground of fragile bone forest was broken, and the bone spears of more than 10 meters fell to the ground. PS has been busy recently, so the update is a bit poor. I apologize to everyone. We'll update more tomorrow weekend.